Everybody ready?
Ready.
Jim? Good. All right, we'll call meeting to order. Mr. Placco, can you call the roll, please?
Jennifer Harden.
Here.
Jack Miley.
Here.
Belinda Grassi.
Here.
Tom Hack. Here. Stephen Jeffries.
Here.
So, stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On behalf of the board, I would like to welcome all students, staff, parents, and interested community members to tonight's Board of Education meeting. I would like to remind everyone this is a meeting of the Board of Education held in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public comment during the meeting in the public participation section on the agenda. First, we need to approve the minutes from the July 13th, 15th, 25th, August 3rd, and 18th, 2016 board meetings. Take a second on it? I'll second. Is there any discussion? Okay. If not, Mr. Placco, can you call roll, please?
Jack Miley.
Aye.
Belinda Grassi.
Aye.
Tom Hack.
Aye.
Stephen Jeffries.
Aye.
Jennifer Harden.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, that takes us to special reports, Mr. Gaines.
We have no special reports today.
Okay there. All right. All right, old business. I guess I just asked an old business for an update on the Leroy, if the building were to close, redistricting.
Right. Well, we contacted EduLog a while back and asked for their help. And at first, I didn't think they could do it by the 31st, and then they said they could. And everything seemed to be in line. And then they gave us the cost of helping us. And it was $10,500. And I said, no, we're not interested in spending that kind of money. Well, they came back and said $6,500. We still said no. So in the last couple of, this past week or so, we've been gathering a lot of information in terms of capacity at the elementary schools, and we've worked with Lisa Shirley and actually Jim Half, our former transportation director that works out of Painesville City, that is very well versed in EduLog, and we're trying to get it done. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done by the 31st.
Is Jim charging us for help, or is he?
Not that I don't think so.
And just to make sure we all understand it, we're looking at trying to figure out what the redistricting will look like in the event of Leroy closing, and it's a complete elementary school redistricting.
We're going to try to do it with at least a minimum of disruption, but yes, there are going to be some students that move throughout the district. The unfortunate part about all of this is with the room and road bridge out, no matter where we send the Leroy students, the levy is Leroy down. The rides are long no matter where you go. I mean, it's one of those situations where they need to finish that bridge in order to get at least to the northern part of our district.
So is Jim helping Lisa to do this, because is she not?
Sorry.
No, I was going to say she's not able to do this.
No, she is.
Right?
She can use the software. She's not as well versed as Jim. Jim's forte was using the software. And they work very close, they collaborate a lot. Since she's the director of transportation services in the city, they built a symbiotic type of relationship with the city, and he, on his own time, came over and helped look at some maps that we had and some numbers. So we're going to try to get it done, and Mr. Haffa has done a nice job helping us out, and Lisa we're meeting Friday morning, I think at 8:45 is our next meeting.
Good. Does anybody else have anything for old business? All right, new business? We are just moving along. Board of Education Committee and Liaison Reports. Superintendent's Business Advisory, we have not done anything since last meeting. Mr. Miley.
Okay, curriculum and programming. We're working on setting up our schedule for the rest of the calendar year. Other than that, we have not met. I met with the RPTA. That was August 11th. Most of the schools were present at the time. Basically, they outlined the dates that they're going to meet for the 2016-2017 school year. And every building gave a little that was present gave a little wrap-up of what they're hoping to do this year. There's so many good things, I can't even start listing this, we'd be here forever, but the buildings and the parents are doing a great job in encompassing families into the school and the community. They're doing things like movie nights, date nights so parents can get out and do things, and people at the school will watch their kids. There's fundraisers all over the district. It's great to see. Great community effort.
Were any athletic booster teams there, clubs there? Or is it just the PTOs?
Just the PTOs, I think.
Gridiron Club was.
Oh, yes, Gridiron.
Tailgate.
They were there to talk about the tailgate.
Is that it?
And the levy committee was there to talk about the levy.
Great. Will we be having a group booster meeting soon? I need to talk to Kelly about that and just have her get in touch with Kim McDonald to get that on George's calendar and get it set for everybody together. All right, Mrs. Grassi, Finance and Audit.
Finance and Audit, we actually have a meeting scheduled for Thursday morning at 8. So we will keep everybody updated on what has taken place there. Mr. Blanco being here now a month. We're going to review how his first month has gone and go through some other things. So we have that scheduled for Thursday. And legislatively, people are not back from their summer break yet. However, there are 138 bills on the watch list, none of them earth sharing. So, other than that, nothing else.
Very good. Mr. Hack, Buildings and Grounds.
All right, we did have a meeting on August 9th, and we talked a lot about a lot of the activities that occurred over the summer to get the district ready for tomorrow's start of school. And one of the biggest things that we got an update on is the work that was done at Lamouth. Just for the benefit of people who might be listening in, there was some ductwork, some new chillers, and some other equipment was installed to improve the ventilation and cooling of Lamouth, and that has been completed as of the 17th. They did a lot of team cleaning so that the buildings look good, and I can tell you, having been here at Riverside, that things are looking very good and ready for the start of school. And then they've also done some landscaping as well. The next Buildings and Ground meeting is September 15th, and at that meeting we hope to get an update on some inspections of the roofs. We're particularly looking at the campus just to make sure that the roof is in good shape and that it maintains its integrity and some longevity. So that is my report.
Very good. Mr. Jeffries?
Personnel, we did not have a meeting, plan on having a meeting next month. So I have nothing new to report as of today. Alumni Association, they had a picnic. I was unable to attend that picnic, but I heard that it was well put on, and that's all I have with that.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kayla, Superintendent's report.
Okay, I just wanted to piggyback with what Mr. Hack was saying about the mood. The HVAC project, all classroom and common areas are completed. I was over there a few weeks back and everything was just all taken apart. And I wasn't too concerned about the start of the school year, but it was such a big project. But everything is completed. There's air conditioning now in the office, library, 3 teacher workrooms, and in rooms 101, 107, 201, 203, 206, 210, 213, and 214. And all areas are clean and ready for the students. And we still are working on some exhaust fan work in the office restroom and the teacher's lounge. I have Mr. Rattino here today. I don't know if you want to throw in your 2 cents about the project. Everything's pretty much completed.
I was amazed at how fast it came together after I started 3 weeks ago, and even I was kind of nervous. And everybody worked so hard, and thank you Dan Wayner for all and everyone for their help in getting Lamouth ready to go. We're ready for students, and it's very comfortable for all of them, especially in those upstairs rooms where we've had issues trying to keep them. Either they were too cold or too hot, and they were never just right. And they are about 72 degrees right on and just perfect. So
That's the interior class.
those are the interior classrooms that do not have. Yeah, there's no windows or anything.
So how much of Lamouth now is still on there that does not have air conditioning?
The majority of our classrooms still do not have air. But they have windows. Every room that now is down in the interior has air, and then we have some rooms in the old wing that were former computer labs that have air as well.
Another major project we just completed too is the other half of the Madison Avenue roof. And this just goes to show, again, what we've been saying to the public about our facilities is the fact that we have to make repairs to old buildings, especially roofs. And we just spent $23,873.50 completing the second half of the roof over at Madison Avenue. And again, our facility plan, if it passes in November, Madison would be one of those schools that we would decommission. But again, we keep on throwing money at the buildings just to keep them operating. And that's what happens when you have very old buildings. That building was built in 1928. Also, I think it was at the last board meeting we were talking about the possibility of having latchkey at Lamouth. And we gave the board numbers with 2 supervisors there, and that's how we run latchkey, typically with 2. And we didn't have enough hours to sustain the program with 2. So I met with Mrs. Bialco, and we're trying to figure out a way to create some type of after-school program there, because the state minimum busing does provide some type of hardship for some of the parents over there. And we thought about the age of the student at Lamouth, and that it might be more manageable having an older child than chasing around younger ones and then needing 2 people there. So we think we can swing it with 1 supervisor to start with. And we have about 12 to 13 people that have committed to the program. Mrs. Bialco is going to reach out to the rest of Lamouth's families to see if anyone else would like it. And if it grows to a point where we need to, then we'll have to. And that's one of the reasons why you saw a posting come up a day or 2 ago asking to see if anyone was interested in that position. I think we do have a candidate. I don't think the posting's come down yet, but someone has showed some interest. There's one person that we were going to use, but I shouldn't say unfortunately. She already works for us during the regular day, and we can't have her have extra hours in the afternoon because it would be overtime. So I think Julie's going to try to start it. Mrs. Bialco's going to try to start it starting tomorrow, and we'll see where it goes. We're going to give it another try. We did it a couple of years ago, and there was lack of interest, but a lot of people called us, so we're going to give it a shot.
And that's appreciated. I know actually I'm the one who received a call from the concerned parent who wanted to have latchkey at Lamouth, and we try to move forward as best we can, but clearly with our financial situation, busing is not an option. And so trying to do other things to accommodate and allow some flexibility for the families is important when we can do it, and hopefully this will work out and it makes sense for the district as well as for the families.
There's another idea that Mr. Rattino came up with actually when we were talking is the fact that there's a lot of kids that would like to be not participants, but be in attendance for after-school activities like basketball games and football games, volleyball matches, and he's thinking of a way that maybe they can be at Latchkey after school for a short period of time for a small dollar amount, and then at which point they're released to go to the athletic event instead of going home and not having to ride back to the athletic event. So that's one of the things we're also looking at. Think about how to provide that type of service to those families as well. All right, we had some discussion also about whether or not a school on a property enhances or devalues surrounding properties. So I spoke to the professional property appraiser, Jim Huber of Charles Ripley. They've done a lot of appraisals for us over the years, and posed that question as to whether or not a brand new school would enhance the value of undeveloped land nearby or decrease the value. And his answer said that he believes it would enhance the value of the property for a couple of reasons. One, he says, in our case, it is evident that at least the people in Leroy, the value of having their school nearby, they had value having the school nearby, as evidenced by the fact that many of the parents were unhappy when we were talking about the possibility of closing their school, and that they wanted their neighborhood school. The other thing he said was he found in his experience that young families seem to like to buy property near schools for obvious reasons. proximity to the playground, proximity to going to school, having after-school activities, and he believes that it would increase the value. He doesn't know how much it would increase the value, but he thinks that it would increase surrounding property values.
No, that's good to know.
A couple other things I just wanted to throw in there. We also talked about the coffees that I've been doing. I participated in 7 coffees since the middle of July. I did one actually last night. I was at residence in Wintergreen. It was a very nice meeting that we had. People have been very supportive of the schools, but there's very meaningful dialogue that's going on there where we're able to talk a little bit about the facility plan. There's some questions that they ask, and I also give them my phone number if they want to call me and ask me a question they didn't think of during the presentation. There are anywhere between maybe 6 and 12 people that participate in it. But what I've noticed is there are a lot of engaged community members where they're coming to these meetings and then they're going out and talking to a lot of their neighbors. So it's working out pretty well. I got to tell you, the first time was a little awkward, you know, going into people's houses and kicking off your shoes and talking about the facility plan. It's not like a public forum. They're very, very welcoming people though. And now that I've done 7, I feel like a family member. We also have the Fannie and Howie contract on the board agenda tonight, committing ourselves to using them throughout our facility plan process. And also, today I received the contract for Lake Health. I received it late today, around 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I did send it to Dan, at least the sponsorship part of it. There's 2 contracts that are involved. One is for the sponsorship and the other one is for the training services. Dan looked at the sponsorship and it feels comfortable with it now. I have a copy of it. It's only 2 pages. I was going to pass it out to the board to take a look. The training one's 4 pages. I still would like to go over it with our athletic department and athletic director and also Dan again. And that's one of the reasons why I don't have it on the board agenda tonight. And I'm thinking of just holding it until our next September meeting. In my Friday packet, I talked to the board about the possibility of other properties that we've been looking at. I haven't heard directly from Concord Cliffs, but I'm hearing out on the street that I wouldn't be surprised if we received a call in the next few days. And I don't know anything about the details of that, except I'll wait and see if I do receive that call. Once I do, I'll update the board on it.
Great.
That concludes my report.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, I have one more thing. This is the contract we need to sign with our teachers union.
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
I
Mr.
still need
Ozzie
your
told me that we
signature
had
and
it.
also Gary's.
Yep. Thank
I
you.
wasn't sure if Gary was to sign it or Mike, since he's the one that helped negotiate the contract. According to what Dan said, he said that Gary should just sign off on it since he's the current treasurer.
Excellent.
And that concludes my report.
Mr. Platica, Treasurer's Report.
Yes, just wanted to have a quick discussion. The USBA Capital Conference, they have a business meeting every year, and we need to appoint someone to attend that meeting, and then also a delegate or an alternate. So if the delegate can't show, the alternate can go in their place. So on tonight's agenda, on section J, there's 2 blank lines of who's going, and so hoping that Anna who wants to go, and then we can approve it when we get to that part of the agenda.
Who else is going to
Mr.
Austria?
Last year,
Mr. Jack.
The year before that was me.
The year before that was me.
What are you 2 doing that week?
Capital Conference.
That's so fun.
And Steve is on until 10, so it's between the 4 of you.
What, do you know, when is it?
It is the Monday, the November 14th. There's a briefing at 8 a.m. It kind of goes over what's going to be on it, and the actual meeting is at 2:30 p.m.
I am not.
Isn't that the Capital Conference?
At the Capital
Yeah.
Conference. It's
Okay.
at the Capital.
Yes.
Okay.
this is,
Well, I've never been, so I'm happy to since I'll be there, I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
Thanks.
But you have to remind me.
I'll be happy to be the alternate.
We'll send you a text.
Yeah.
We're always happy to be the alternate.
We'll have to sign off on it, so, you're bound to it, once we approve the motion.
Very official.
All right, sounds like I won't miss it.
And then the other thing on the agenda tonight I wanted to bring to your attention, just on section H, there's a resolution for Worth Avenue Group. This is our Chromebook insurance. And due to the dollar amount, I just wanted to kind of give a little background information. Basically, it's the renewal of last year's policy. Last year, we insured 1,500 some Chromebooks for a total price of $48,000. So new quote this year, they raised it 5 to 10% per, on the quotes. I was like, ooh, it's not good. I went back to them and said, hey, can you explain the increase? Plus, we have the new group of Chromebooks with the 1,400, it's a 1,455 Chromebook. So he went back to their underwriters. They came back with a new quote, and for all of the Chromebooks, it's now $70,950. And the ones that we had insured last year, it's actually a reduction of $8,600 from what the original quote was on those ones, but then we're adding another 1,400 or so Chromebooks onto it, so that's why the total price it's up to $70,950. I believe I was talking with Alex, and this is probably the last year we're going to do the insurance. We're going to be doing something in the house for next year, but just for everything else going on, it's a little cumbersome to try to do that this year. And also with the vendor told me, according to them, with last year's premium was $48,000, and supposedly they paid out $75,000 in claims between all the repairs and violence that they sent us over the past year.
That's what I was going to ask, so we did use it.
Yes, with our loss rate, we were 156% we used. It was our loss rate.
Surprised they don't want to insure it.
Right. He said it's a good deal according to them. I'm not sure how they get to their numbers, but.
Right.
But talking to Alex, he said that, they repair them constantly, and it's a pretty good deal for what we're getting, so.
Good.
That's pretty much all I had.
All right. That takes us to public participation. Anyone who wishes to speak can please do so. You can state your name, and time is limited to 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Sonia Haynes, and I am here to talk about the busing for Buckeye Elementary. I'll just tell you what my situation is and then my issues. We've been here for 3 years, and my husband and I's work schedule, I had to put my son in latchkey because I leave for work too early and get home too late. So now my mother-in-law is staying with us so she can be there to send him off and be home, and then I called transportation to find out the busing, pick up and drop off, and they don't bus for kids that live under a mile. So then sent the superintendent an email and with my concerns in that, and he was understanding and told me about the financial issues with all of that. But I just don't understand how all these kids' safety is coming into play when you think about the 4 or 5 months out of the year when they're walking in the snow. It's a 15-minute walk for my son. We walked it the other day. And when there's mounds of snow on the side of the road, we have no school speed zones. We live on a curvy road. Where's he supposed to go when cars are coming? I just find it so unsafe. I can't even imagine having to do that to him. I can't afford latchkey this year, which costs me at the least $1,300 a year. I understand the whole budget issue with schools as we deal with it as parents, but so I guess I'm just wondering if something is trying to be done. What can I do? I don't even know if this is where I should be talking about this. I think it's a huge concern. I can't be the only parent that I understand latchkey is there for those people, that don't have the busing, but now I'm in the situation where I can't afford to do that and made other arrangements with my mother-in-law staying with us, and now I'm still at the point where he has to walk to school. I don't see the fairness, I guess, that I pay the same amount of taxes as the people that live 2 miles away, and they come up with this law that not everybody gets to utilize the same service that we all pay taxes for. So I don't know where to get answers, or if there's something being done, or what I can do. So I guess that's my issues.
You know, unfortunately, right now, I mean, we tried to get restore busing or bring it back in 3 or 4 levy different attempts. You know, I think it's certainly our intention to talk about it again this spring, to put an operating levy on the ballot, which would help where we potentially could bring back busing. But unfortunately, right now, I mean, the law is what it is with as far as state, you know, we're at state minimum busing, which means that if you're under that mile, you can't make it, we don't have the ability to make any exceptions, unfortunately. And it's, every one of us here is a parent too, and I mean, I personally feel with you, I mean, I can't imagine, but it's, our hands are kind of tied in these situations right now. Like I said, I mean, we're certainly looking at hopefully getting an operating levy on the ballot in the spring, where we talk about the restoration of busing, but it would have to pass. And our voters have told us that that's not important to them still. I mean, we had a survey that was put out, a professionally done survey. There were voters, not even voters, residents of the district were called randomly, and it was what, the 4th or 5th most important thing to our residents. They don't even feel like it's an important thing. I mean, I think all of us agree that it is, but unfortunately the people that we're required to get their approval to spend the money
I think
don't
if
agree.
there's one thing that I hear from parents after the 2010 to 2012 cuts of over $6 million, I think it was 6.8, is the busing situation. We were able to cut more than $1 million. We tried not to, but when you have that much of a deficit, your schools can't run in the red, so we had to make some cuts. But during that same time period, 2010 to 2012, we did put up 4 levies, and 3 of them would have either sustained or restored busing. And to Mrs. Harden's point, in 2013, we put out a professional survey. And we only didn't survey the 20% or so of our community that have actual children in our district. It was the other 80% as well, and it was down the list. If I were to ask all the parents, I know it would be on top of the list. But again, the only way to generate money is through levies. I mean, that's how you operate schools. And I think the other 80% spoke. They weren't interested in having that being brought back. So I don't know what else we can do. We try to provide latchkey for people in these situations. It's evidenced by the fact that we're trying to start one up at Lamouth too for parents. We looked at what it would cost to restore it under the current conditions. And we're looking at about $250,000 or so in personnel costs, but then we also have to buy buses to the tune of about 4, and each of them are about $90,000 a piece. And in 2 years, you know, we're gonna be in that same spot that we were in 2010 to 2012. And our hope is to put up an operating levy, have a prioritized list of what we would like to bring back. I'm not gonna speak for the board there here, but I'm sure at least some type of restoration of busing will be somewhere on top of that list.
One other point I wanted to point out. So the kids that have to walk to school that are less than a mile, I mean, we have nothing on our road that alerts people that this is a school zone where kids are going to be walking so that they can slow down, you know. And I live on Coleridge, which is curvy, all the way to Buckeye Road. So when he's walking, I mean, it's morning time. Some people aren't paying attention all the time, and
Have you had an opportunity? It doesn't always work very much, but I know my administrative assistant, Debbie Patterson, does keep a list of parents who might be interested in carpooling with neighborhood residents.
I sent that in my email, but I am not sure about that because I work really early and very late, so I can't even participate, or you know, I don't know how that all works out.
You might want to at least, I don't know if it will work, but I would at least give her your name and number so long as you feel comfortable. It's not something that you have to do, but at least she might be able to give you an option if someone else is in the same boat as you are in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I guess my
Every once in a
concern was
while.
I couldn't return, you know, you drive the kids on Monday and Wednesday and I'll do Thursday and Friday or whatever, you know, so I'm not available to that. But I do have that number in my email, so if that becomes an option, I will.
Excuse me, Jim, is there any documentation that we have since busing, when busing stopped in 2010, like any critical incidents regarding students coming to school at, where they've been involved in accidents, coming to the high school, and has there been any dealing with Lamuth where they're walking to school, any problems in the past 6 years?
We always tell parents, I mean, and I understand that they sometimes they think we're putting them in peril, but as a parent too, they need to make sure. I would never allow anyone to put my own child in peril. I'd try to find a way to rectify the situation. We're responsible, obviously, for the kids when they're under our care, custody, and control, but we do know it's an issue before and after school, the whole transportation piece. Out here, I don't have any formal data for you, but I do know we've had some fender benders in front of the school or in the parking lot, but we had those even before cutting busing. You know, you have a lot of kids that are just learning how to drive. Actually, I was rear-ended a couple of years back out in front of Riverside.
I had a fender bender in 1982 in the parking lot.
My son had a bad one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Model T fenders weren't that expensive. But,
Chris, how about the Lamuth? Any
Knock on
critical
wood, I
incidents?
can't remember really of anything. I mean, our parents have been great. Our traffic is,
Yeah.
we've got kind of, now that they've learned the traffic pattern, it's gotten a lot better.
we had, it was a strange incident. I think it was about 2 years ago. This sounds crazy, but the report was a car was driving slowly across in front of Riverside Drive, and a kid went to cross the street and bumped into the car. I know that sounds crazy. The kid hit the car. The kid bounced off the car. It was reported to us, but the kid got up and took off. So it did take us some time to track down who it was. He was, I don't believe he was, well, it wasn't seriously. And we talked to the parents. And that's one of the reasons why we put a crosswalk out on the corner over here. And that's where we used to direct traffic. But since we opened up the new driveway, that's where the police officer is now directing traffic and not where the crosswalk is. But there are kids that cross the street unsupervised, and you know, we just want to make sure that they're careful when they do that.
But, and at the elementaries, anything at all with predators or anybody around at all, or anything like, since we?
No, I mean, in
past 6
Painesville
years?
Township, it's not helping you, I guess, because where you are, but we did get it was $491,000 grant to put in sidewalks, and we did put them in some areas, but it's not reaching everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, she has to get to the end of Goldridge.
Who's responsible for putting in, like, I don't know, street signage? That's the township.
It depends if it's like in front of our school here, it's ODOT, around the corner, it's county.
It's the road department of that street, whoever
Right,
runs
so
that
it would be
street.
Painesville Township.
Melissa had something.
I would just suggest that maybe you might want to contact Mrs. Smolin. She might be able to, with your permission, put some feelers out about who lives in that neighborhood. And sometimes if they're going anyway, it may not necessarily be a reciprocal thing.
Right.
Sometimes when they call here, they're looking for somebody. You might have better luck going straight to the source, and she might be able to find you. I mean, if somebody's going on Coleridge, they might say, sure, I can pick them up and bring them home, no big deal. You know, I'm going there anyway. So you just might have better luck going to Mrs. Smolin.
Mullen?
Yeah, that's your principal at Buckeye.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, I would go there. She probably is going to be able to find you a contact person. Like I said, it might not be somebody looking to carpool, but somebody will say, yeah, no big deal. I'll pick them up and I'll bring
One
them
of us
home.
will contact her to let her know that you'll be calling the school, just so she knows what we're talking about.
I'll give her some time since tomorrow's the
She would appreciate that. That would be really nice.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? All right. That takes us to our consent agenda. Consent agenda provides for more efficient use of time. Any board member can remove a consent agenda item to be discussed and voted on individually. Finance and audit.
We have a motion to approve the items listed on the Finance and Audit consent agenda as recommended by the treasurer, A through J.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on any of these items, A through J?
And just to note that for Resolution J, I'm going to appoint Hack and then have you as the delegate on that.
Excellent.
Perfect. All right, if there's no discussion, can you call the roll?
Belinda Grassi,
Aye.
Tom Heck,
Aye.
Stephen Jeffries,
Aye.
Jennifer Harden,
Aye.
Jack Miley.
Aye.
Motion carried. Personnel.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the items listed on the personnel consent agenda as recommended by the superintendent, A through I. Second.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Tom Heck,
Aye.
Stephen Jeffries,
Aye.
Jennifer Harden,
Aye.
Jack Miley,
Aye.
Belinda Grassi.
Aye.
Motion carried. Curriculum and programming.
Motion to approve the items listed on the program consent agenda as recommended by the superintendent. It's item A. Can I have a second?
One second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, if you call the roll, please.
Stephen Jeffries,
Aye.
Jennifer Harden,
Aye.
Jack Miley,
Aye.
Belinda Grassi,
Aye.
Tom Heck.
Aye.
Motion carried. Buildings and grounds.
Motion to approve the items listed on the buildings and grounds / operations consent agenda as recommended by the superintendent. And that's just item A. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. Mrs. Harden?
So make sure that everyone sees that this is the resolution to rename the board conference room to the George E. Insco Jr. Conference Room. It looks like it's currently under construction, which is very exciting. It's a
This
big
is Exhibit
update.
G, if you'd like to.
Yes, thank you. The George E. Insco Jr. Conference Room, whereas George Insco has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to the students of the Riverside Local School District, and whereas George Insco has earned the respect and gratitude of students, parents, teachers, administrators, board members, and community for his tireless efforts to ensure that the students receive the best education possible, and whereas George Insco has enhanced the image and reputation of the Riverside Local School District through his service as a teacher, high school principal, and superintendent for both Riverside Local School District and the Lake County Schools. Therefore, be it resolved that the Riverside Local Board of Education hereby renames the board conference room to the George E. Insco Jr. Conference Room on this day, August 23rd, 2016.
Very nice. Very nice.
Jim, we're going to get a plaque made.
We are we're going to have it presented to Mr. Insco on September 17th. In the Alumni Association dinner and induction.
Can you please call the roll?
Jennifer Harden,
Aye.
Jack Miley,
Aye.
Belinda Grassi,
Aye.
Tom Heck,
Aye.
Stephen Jeffries.
Aye.
Motion carried. It takes us to Board of Education update. Anyone have anything for us?
I just want to wish everybody a good day back at school tomorrow and send your pictures. Nick, where are we supposed to send those?
Either tag our Facebook page at Riverside Local Schools or our Twitter page at Riverside Local Schools.
Perfect.
And everyone knows what,
Oh, hashtag we are Riverside.
and everyone knows what buildings they will be attending tomorrow, correct? For the welcome back?
One other thing I wanted to mention too is I know we had some issues concerning some low numbers in our classrooms. And as I said before, a lot of times kindergarten parents wait last minute to enroll. And Leroy now has 19 in their kindergarten class. But the numbers are nicely balanced. They really are, thus far. Because I know they're going to change a little bit here and there.
And then Belinda and I will be attending some kindergarten orientations on Friday to just get there and welcome all the new families into the district. And thank you, Nick, for getting the t-shirts. We have t-shirts for all of our incoming kindergarten students this year. And hopefully get pictures for all of them with their little new t-shirts on and all that good stuff. And how was the rest of opening day yesterday?
It's been busy.
Yeah.
It's been really busy.
One thing,
We're ready for the kids to come back.
right? And I did tell Melissa yesterday, but I apologize on my opening day. I meant to thank Mrs. Malacca for getting all the shirts together for the CFNL. I know there was a lot of shirts to get ordered and taken care of. And I went to the meeting yesterday for opening day and completely forgot my speech at home on my kitchen table, and then had to stand there and remember what I was going to say.
I just spoke from the heart.
Yeah. So thank you for taking care of all this. We appreciate it very much, and wish everybody a good first day tomorrow. Anybody else?
Yep, do you have something? No, you got it. I also want to wish everybody a good start to the year. Actually have a senior this year and a junior, so it's very exciting. Things are coming to a close. But I also want to talk a little bit about what we do here at Riverside as far as trying to, in essence, educate a whole person. We have the ability, and we study history, science, mathematics, political science, and things like that. We try to create the whole person. And when you look at creating the whole person, we also do that because we want people to feel a part of being an American and being a part of the community. And many times, I think there are drives to have people look at a more narrow facet of what they are, whether you're female or male, or what your race might be, what your sexual orientation may be. And what I believe very strongly is that we need to have people who graduate from Riverside who focus on all facets of their life. It's all important that we be civil in the civil society, regardless of what particular characteristics you have. And that is something I think is very important for us to keep in mind, that we are creating a citizen for all the community, and not just one who has a particular set of characteristics. One of the other things I strongly believe in is that we have continuing education, or maybe continuous learners. And one of the things I strive to do is to keep on top of current events and expand my mind through reading different books and what have you. And that is something I hope that all of us are able to do once we walk through the door. And I certainly try to instill that in my kids. And one of the tools that I use to help me understand things and get a different perspective is something called Prager University, which is Prager University. It's online. It's they've had 100,000 views to this point, probably 140 million views this year. And what they do is they put together 5-minute videos on different topics, from economics to history to social science to political science and things like that. But it gives you perhaps a different perspective. In fact, I give my kids $3 an episode they watch, and then talk with me about it. And I also have stopped giving money to my alma maters of Miami University and Case Western Reserve, because I agree with the mission statement or the vision of Prager University. And that vision is, we help millions of people understand the fundamental values that shaped America and provide them with the intellectual ammunition they need to defend and spread those values. Prager University is a source for every American and every person in the world who values liberty, for understanding and explaining the values we share. And I truly believe that we are in a unique country, and that we need to work very hard to preserve those unique characteristics. And that is why I do all those things towards those ends. So I appreciate your time listening, but I think it is very important that we create the whole citizen and not just somebody who views themselves through one facet of their being. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would like to invite everybody to tailgate on Friday. Just make sure that you come and enjoy the football game. The tailgate is from 4 to 7, and the football game starts at 7:30, correct?
7:30, yeah.
So,
All
it's
the
against
rest are
Perry.
7 though, right?
Yes.
No, there is one other
The
one.
first
that's
couple
7:30.
are
It might be-
7.
Yeah,
it might
2
be
is-
I think the
Harvey.
first two, West Jackson will be started at 7:30, but that's the way. So I would like to invite everybody to come on Friday.
What driveway did you come in today?
The student.
I'm sorry.
You know, Jack, that one?
I did see the new
I
landscape.
came in,
Yeah, you guys had
I
to go
did.
out this way.
It looks really nice.
Yeah,
Jim.
go out
It
that
does.
way, it's
It
very
does
cool,
look nice.
it looks beautiful over
We're
there.
getting there.
Yeah.
We're calling it JK Way, you know.
No, yeah.
We are, by the way.
You might not.
Yeah, you don't have to, but we are.
It does look nice.
Is that it?
That's it.
Everybody's good? All right, with that, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Grassi. Mr. Placco, can you call the roll, please?
Jack Miley,
Aye.
Linda Grassi.
Aye.
Tom Heck.
Aye.
Stephen Jeffries.
Aye.
Jennifer Hart.
Aye. Motion carried, and we are adjourned. Thank you very much.